my friend, and welcome to my channel. For today's Reiki session here, we're going to be doing a very supportive session for overthinking. I know this is something that can come up a lot, and so I really wanted to make sure that we addressed it. Thank you so much for your requests, because this is based on those, as are all of my videos here. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you connecting with me in that way and letting me know what you're moving through and what you'd like to focus a session on. It's really helpful. So I'm going to start by lighting a little bit of sage and doing some clearing. So this is a good time to just relax. Start wherever you can with that relaxation. Maybe we're not at a point yet where we can relax our minds, but perhaps we can begin with relaxing our jaw, maybe relaxing our shoulders, relaxing our brow. Maybe we can start to relax our tummy, release any held energy there. Relax our feet and hands. Wherever you can begin. This can be a beautiful key to opening up this doorway to relaxation. So just start somewhere that's available to you for relaxation. Clicking on an ASMR video is a nice way to start. So I'm just lighting a little match and lighting this sage bundle. So when we do any of this kind of initial superficial clearing, what we're intending here is to clear what's available to be cleared. This is not to insinuate that a little bit of smoke is going to make it really easy for you to stop having these overwhelming thoughts or getting caught in worry or the overthinking mind, but rather to just encourage you to bring some awareness into that plane. This can start to clear energy that's blocked or held. And then maybe we can start to take agency over our thoughts, but we'll talk a little bit more about what you can do in this space to help yourself and empower yourself. My sage bundle is a little bit tight, so I need to just light it again and loosen it up. While I'm doing that, if you could focus on some beautiful deep breathing here, just deep rejuvenating breath. Now we're cooking with gas. There we go. So just focus on your breath. Maybe focus on the smoke. Maybe focus on me. Maybe if that helps you, focus on me. Focus on the sound. Just try to be present with yourself right now. Wherever you are and whatever you're moving through, just try to bring some presence and attention to that. Gorgeous. Lovely. Gorgeous. Okay, I'm going to place this over here, and I'm going to use this black kyanite to do a little further clearing. So this is a great stone for this sort of deeper energetic clearing negative energy. I'm not sure if you can tell, but the sage is still smoking away. Can you? You might not be able to see it. So we're keeping a nice kind of clearing energy in this space throughout the session, okay? I think when we're dealing with an overthinking mind, there are so many layers to it, there are so many reasons for it, that jumping in anywhere and chatting about it can sometimes make you feel a bit misunderstood, or that there needs clarification or something. It can also really start to invite in a sense of self-doubt. Overthinking can sometimes block your connection to your intuition. It can sometimes prevent you from really trusting yourself. And I know that you can connect with your intuition and your gut, the third eye and sacral. I know you can connect and clear these areas. This kind of work is really going to be about what you're able to attend, how you're able to attend this overthinking mind. And very often an overthinking mind is a coping mechanism for trauma or a symptom of stress, depression, or anxiety. So just know that whatever that is, if we can begin from a place of gratitude and say, I'm grateful that this overthinking mind is trying to protect me. This overthinking mind is trying to keep you safe. Whether that overthinking mind replays past moments, kind of stuck in maybe reliving moments that were either painful, uncomfortable, embarrassing, shameful moments. Or it could be that you project into the future. You might have some foreboding thoughts. The what ifs might start to come in. It's different for everybody, and it's different day by day, and sometimes moment by moment for the overthinkers. But just know that it's you trying to care for yourself. It's a coping mechanism, and there's nothing wrong with you. Obviously, I'm a very big proponent on therapy, and I believe that sorting out your mental health is just as important as sorting out your physical health. Also, another aspect here is the spiritual side, which I'm assuming is why you've come to this session. So the spiritual side of this is really about finding that empowerment within, from my perspective, seeing how we can create a sense of alignment within us holistically while we're doing all of these different aspects and components. So, when we are caught in those hamster wheel thoughts, those kind of overplaying, projecting into the future, foreboding, or reliving, whatever it might be. This is different than problem solving or really ruminating on something for an objective. Very often the difference is that with problem solving or creative thinking or trying to work through something, the objective is momentum, forward movement, with a very clear intention in mind, and an intention that aligns, hopefully. So with the overthinking mind, or something that we might want some help with, clarity and focus and release, is the aspect that gets stuck in the problem rather than in the solving. I know this might sound very obvious, but just so we can kind of start out this session kind of on the same page. Or also, if you don't agree with me, then you have an opportunity now to kind of click away and find something that works better for you. That's kind of my perspective here, is that we want to really acknowledge what it is that we would like to release. So self-reflection is so powerful. Self-actualization and knowing yourself is so valuable and critical in this kind of spiritual work. But that's different than the overthinking mind. That self-reflection is a lot about, recognizing patterns of behavior, getting in touch with how you feel presently. How are you feeling? How are you doing? You deserve to check in with yourself. You deserve to be asked that. And, we have to ask ourselves that, right? How are you doing? How are you feeling right now in this moment? What's here? What's the feeling? How can we connect that to our body? A lot of the kind of that key into this work for people is breath. How can I connect the body, the heart, the mind? How can I start to associate all of these things? Start to connect all of these different aspects to create this whole fluid self. Great, I'm going to use the selenite wand just to do a little bit of plucking here. Once we connect with where we are right now, and what we're doing right now, how we're feeling, what we're moving through, that's a beautiful way of automatically kind of taking it from this space and expanding it outwards, going from the thinking mind into the feeling mind, and starting to really connect with a less kind of limiting sense. If you start to connect with how you're feeling in this moment, that can invite presence, which is, the antagonist to the overthinking mind. Very challenging to be overthinking when you are present, fully present in this moment with your experience, with the experience of others around you. And then, it can be complicated. So. Although Eckhart Tolle would say it's very simple. Very simple. So, can you, in whatever way, try to bring presence here in this moment? Can you, in whatever way, try to arrive here more fully, more alert, more awake? Just in this moment, right here. And if your mind tries to cast you for a field, you can just invite that awareness back. I would definitely suggest daily meditation if this is something you struggle with, and I think Tara Brach is incredible for loving awareness and loving attention, and she has a beautiful way of connecting all of these ideas and making them practicable, capable of being practiced instead of just this philosophical kind of ideology. So I definitely recommend just finding something that works for you, even if it's a 2 to 3 minute meditation where you just kind of sit with yourself and connect in whatever way, with your breath, with your feet touching the floor, however you can connect with yourself presently, because that's the light that's shining into the dark spaces of overthinking and prevents it from festering. It's inviting presence here. Critical thinking and, like I said, problem solving, and even, having fun sort of philosophical thought sessions and conversations. We're not pushing these out as we invite presence in, but rather we're pushing out those anxious thought wheels that say, I can't do this, I've never been able to do this, what if this happens? I can't believe I said that, I can't believe I did that. Reliving things that have been traumatic, painful in the past. Focusing on all the fear that is involved with worry about the future, so all of that. And this also doesn't have anything to do with planning. Planning is great, but most kind of mindfulness coaches or gurus, I guess, would suggest taking some time and dedicating and setting intentional time for planning so that it's not part of your background soundscape. So I'm just lighting this candle here to set our intention. Speaking of intentionality, so on behalf of your highest, wisest, most empowered and aligned self, in loving comfort and perfect balance, I wish to conduct this distance Reiki session for soothing an overthinking mind. For inviting agency and empowerment so that you might better manage that overthinking mind. If you would like to clarify or specify the intention that we've set, I hold this candle open for you to do this now. Or even set your own intention as long as it's in service of your and everyone else's highest, wisest, and most empowered and aligned selves. And use this flame here now. You can always pause the video as well if you didn't have enough time. So I wanted to use some rosemary, tea tree, and lavender, but the lavender is actually left over from our previous video. It's just still in the bottle, and I figured adding some tea tree and rosemary might be really nice. This kind of work, it's really important to start off from a place of deep self-love and self-worth, because you are so worthy of being present with yourself, of being present with your loved ones, of being present for your life. You're so worthy of that. We just need to thank these thoughts and try to find a way to invite more presence in. And as you do the work on yourself for your anxiety or your depression with like a mental health care professional, this is a beautiful way to step into alignment spiritually, mentally, emotionally. So I'm going to spray this aura mist to your right, my dear. And to your left. Down at your feet. And above your beautiful head. Oop. There we go. It almost smells kind of citrusy with that rosemary and the tea tree. It's such a nice, refreshing scent. I have to say, I think probably tea tree and cedarwood are my two very favorite essential oils. I'm going to light some incense and draw our sacred Reiki symbols. Okay. About a foot away from your heart center here. Just drawing the symbols. The distance symbol is very long. I love drawing that one. And in case you're wondering, if you're new here, why I don't draw the symbols in front of the lens, it's just because that's how I was taught. I was taught that they're sacred symbols that are passed from master to student and master to student down the line to follow the lineage. But I don't have any problem with people sharing it. I know they're all over the internet. I just I happen to not do that, but that's because I've had a few of you ask me, even after I've addressed it in other videos. I just thought, in case you're new. For an overthinker, I bet that would be frustrating. Okay, gorgeous. The majority of this is going to be in the mental plane here. I'm sure you could have guessed that, as well as in the root, actually. I find it's a really helpful thing to balance these two spaces by sending that energy into the root chakra. So with that in mind, I'm going to just kind of move through a few stones that I think are helpful, specifically when dealing with an overactive mind, an overthinking mind, worrying. So one stone that I like to use, I think probably the most kind of common stone when thinking about an overactive mind or an overthinking mind, is probably fluorite in terms of the support that it provides. You can do indigo fluorite or even green fluorite, but indigo is really associated with the mental plane and these upper chakras. And this is a great stone for focus, for kind of compartmentalizing your thoughts, mental maintenance and management. So I think probably indigo fluorite is, I'd say, maybe my favorite stone for that mind management. Great for focus. Even if you're, when we did our studying video, studying for exams and for, retaining information and knowledge, really using fluorite is very powerful for that practice. It's cubic and just a very kind of geometric. You can't really tell with this stone, but it's a very geometric stone in its raw form. And so even the geometry of it, you kind of, like your puzzle brain, you can put things where they need to go, I guess. Clear quartz is always helpful. It's a great amplifier of positive energy. It's a great one to put clear quartz near a fluorite when you're doing this kind of work, or even put a clear quartz point behind a piece of fluorite to send that energy towards you, if that makes sense. I can kind of see that. That's really helpful. And clear quartz is great for just breaking up any blockages, shooting through with this gorgeous positive light. I love using rutilated quartz for this. This is a nice little rutilated quartz, and I like putting this on my third eye. again, just this sort of makeup of this stone with these different silver filaments, it's great to just kind of remind us that there's a direction that these thoughts can go in. And if they don't fit into those intentional thoughts that we want to engage with, then we can at least acknowledge that those are thoughts that we don't want to house, that we don't necessarily want to believe or send our attention toward. And meditation can be really, really powerful for moving through that, especially if we have a daily or at least weekly or something like that meditation practice to really reconnect with that present mind, that mind that can more easily accommodate our intentions and what we'd like to do in our mental space. Any relaxing stones are really helpful. Sorry, I have bad allergies if you can hear. But something like an angelite would be helpful. It's a very calming, soothing stone, which automatically, if we're doing something that's soothing and calming, it can be very helpful just to remind us of the importance of relaxing our minds. It's also a great one to invite in our angels and our guides in benevolence and care in order that they might help us with these thoughts. That can be a really powerful practice as well. If you're open to that, I have a video about spirit guides, so you can check that out, and that kind of goes into angel guides as well. I find something like an amethyst is really helpful. They're great for just spiritual aligning. They're great for sobriety, and you can think of that as sobriety of thought, as well as sobriety from a substance. So just that sober mind, this is a great one for that. You can kind of do, different work in the mental plane for this. With this amethyst, I either like to use it as a charging amethyst because it's a point, bring it in through my palm with my receptive hands, or I like to use it to kind of carve out, draw the symbols, whatever I need to do in that way. Another stone, or I guess sort of set of stones that I like to use for overthinking, is something very grounding and also very it's soothing, something that's not going to be super punchy and active. So this, or activating rather, Shivalingam, I love using this for yin and yang energies. I love using Shivalingam for balancing that masculine and feminine side. I love using Shivalingam for softening the hard edges and then kind of boosting anything that's feeling a little underactive. So it's a really great balancing stone. So something like this feels like and it's also, the shape and the size, very comforting to kind of hold that in your palms and just use that as part of the meditation practice, or just a mindfulness practice. So those are just a few stones that I would recommend, and if you're going to get one, I would probably suggest either the indigo fluorite or clear quartz, just because I think clear quartz is programmable, so you can program it to serve as any one of those stones. Just a little bonus. So with all that said, I'm going to come through now with my clear quartz and just activate all of the chakras here. Create a beautiful sense of alignment as we move down, and then we'll kind of comb through in the mental plane. So sometimes when we're trying to relax, or when we don't have so much of the external distractions, that's when the overthinking mind is like, great. This is great. No distractions. I got you all to myself. I can tell you all the things you should be worrying about and all the terrible things you've done or embarrassing things you've done. And so relaxation, unfortunately, can sometimes really hinder us from being able to calm that rather obnoxious little buddy that's trying to take care of us. So I think this is where a sense of diligence comes in. Working with a spiritual practitioner or with your mental health professional with something like that, inviting in a routine, inviting in whether that's you meditate for 5 minutes in the morning or the evening or after lunch, and then you do some journaling just as a brain dump, just to get all these thoughts out there. Whether that's you schedule and plan when you're going to schedule and plan, you schedule that out so that you're not kind of constantly feeling like you're behind or rushing or needing to think about a million things. So that requires a lot of work, and that's why this kind of thing is really going to be up to you to start doing some work here. Because it's going to be about a real shift in lifestyle. At least I think so. I think that can be a really powerful thing. I also think if you're somebody who really struggles with that mind-body connection, or if you're someone who really struggles when you are listening to a guided meditation, or when you are meditating silently with yourself, that's when your brain starts to go, okay, great, I'm gonna plan my week. And then you have to continuously return, or you're really struggling with that and kind of beating yourself up about it. It's very natural. That happens a lot. But that's when I would suggest something like a very intentional walking meditation, an affirmation meditation where you choose certain affirmations and you repeat them. This beautiful repetition can really help us to focus that overthinking mind on something so that we can then invite presence. So we're kind of, it's like distracting a baby or something with a little toy so that you can get some work done. But you're giving it some fodder. That's a nice way to start, I feel. A walking meditation, any kind of movement, anything that gets you flowing and moving. Yoga, I think, is probably the most common one that most people engage in. I think that's incredible. I think having a yoga practice, as simple or as challenging as you'd like it to be, yoga is available for everybody, which is something that's so cool about it. So just having that to really connect body, mind, breath, spirit, all of it. Any energy body, the auric field, emotions, just all of it can be really helpful if you're struggling with meditation. But I'd say routine, some diligence around your different devices, maybe not trying to limit stimulation can be helpful if you're really struggling with overthinking. And then just really removing aspects that you're noticing as you take inventory and maybe have a journal about what you're thinking about. If there's something that you're constantly thinking about, start to ask yourself if it's something that you're able to release in your life. And if it's not something you're able to release, then start to ruminate on how you might be able to find some peace with that. Or some empowerment there. If it's a very difficult person, let's say, that you work with, and you're still going to have to see deal with that person? How can you either find compassion for that person, or if that's what it requires, or how can you start to really trust in the power of your voice and speak your mind with that person so that you can say what you need? Or how can you maybe shift your attention, shift your space, shift your chair, shift your experience so that you can provide yourself with what you need? So the serenity prayer, releasing what's not in service, and then if there's something you can't release, we just want to make sure that we're starting to bring attention to how we can accept it and still find peace within ourselves. Gorgeous. I wanted this session to be hopefully a little bit relaxing, but really just to provide a little exchange here, a little conversation about the overthinking mind. That was a specific request, and then I've had on the list for a while, and then I had another one recently, so I just wanted to make sure that I'm attending to this. So hopefully you found this helpful. And our new moon live stream is going to be, if you're watching this in the future, I apologize, but if you're watching this when it comes out, it's this coming Saturday, August 7th, I believe, at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we just do a new moon kind of hang out, and we get to chat if you're open to that, or just kind of hang out. As part of a little live stream that I've been doing on the new moon. It's been so much fun connecting with you all. So that can be nice, and if you are struggling with overthinking, that can be a great time to just set some intentions and plant the seeds for maybe starting a new routine for yourself. So I just want you to know I'm sending you so much love and support as you move through this. And it's beautiful to acknowledge that you're struggling, acknowledging that we're having an issue is the most powerful first step you can take. You are divine. You are connected. You are expressive. You are loved. You are strong. You are creative, and you are emotionally balanced. You are safe. You are safe. Thank you again for joining me, and I'll see you again very soon. Until then, be well. Can you come up on the pillow? She just wants cuddles. Come on, Mama. And just doing a little bit of balancing and aligning. That always happens when I'm trying to do it like up here. I wish to call in guidance from these cards. I love metallic sounds. There's like clicky clacky sounds. But it does have kind of a funny smell. I'm not gonna lie, when I first used it I was like, oh, what is that? But invite